Okay, item 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and start our meeting with the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
All right, join me in prayer as we lift this meeting up to the Lord. Lord God, we come before you humbly this evening, and we acknowledge our dependence on you. On our own, we're proud, and we want to be exalted before others. On our own, we're selfish, and we put our desires before the needs of others. God, only through you can we be who you call us to be. People who sacrifice ourselves for others like Jesus did, who suffered the most painful death possible to pay for our sins. So, Father, we lift up this meeting to you. From the beginning, human government was your idea, and you designed it to be a servant for good, to provide organization and protection so that your people can flourish, to serve as your hands among the people for their benefit. And we pray tonight, Lord, that everyone here would first and foremost subject themselves to you and to the job that you have for them to do. Focus them on the needs of this community above all else. Give them wisdom that they would know the best solutions for the problems that they face. These problems are complex, Lord, and often there isn't a perfect solution, but give them your wisdom to know the best path forward. Give them also a love for justice. Lord, that word is thrown around now and is so often divorced from you, but we ask a love for godly justice, where evil is restrained and righteousness is promoted by those in leadership. And lastly, God, we ask for unity. This is difficult work and conflict is inevitable, but we ask that even when there are disagreements, that they be handled in a way that brings you glory, that everyone involved acts with patience and self-control. Bring unity to everyone here around the work to be done so that this community is blessed. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Monty. All right, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please? Fitch? Here. Stancil? Here. Hobbs? Here. Okay, we're all here. We'll go ahead and review the agenda. I believe we have some amendments to the agenda. Before I say anything, any conflict of interest disclosed? Okay, so we have some amendments to the agenda. The first one is we needed to add some zoning claims.
I've got those ready.
Okay, so that will go under the consent agenda. I'm assuming the board has already reviewed those.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
The other one is a motion, a resolution to do a public hearing for the budget amendment. We had to change that, so we need to do a resolution for that. We have that. You have that. Okay. So remind, we don't forget it because it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other one is I would like the board to consider a amendment under new business to direct our auditor to discuss and consider a motion to direct our auditor to pay invoices that seem to be in dispute. So I'd like to get that under a new business.
Sounds good.
Okay, so 3 amendments to the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we are on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended with the additional claims from zoning?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We are now in department head reports. Mike.
Mike Hackett, Madison County Secondary Roads Engineer. I will be very short and brief tonight. I have one thing on the agenda as a resolution for you. It's kind of brought to my attention here at the 5 o'clock hour. It just ended last week, and we talked about before trying to get grants, and get money to help preserve our covered bridges that we have. And it's just kind of an ongoing process to try to get monies to help. And we've talked about that before. But we have an opportunity, I believe, to get at least one of them a little more attention, to get out there so people can see where we're at. And actually, Teddy Yeager brought this to my attention, and to put it on the list to be to preserve Preservation Iowa's 2026 most endangered properties. The way I understand this is it's a platform where people can see what it is, and it's just basically, I would have to say, some free advertising to say, hey, this is in need. It needs some attention, and that might be able to generate things going forward in the future. Maybe some grant applications or some other things, or donations or that type of thing. So I think it's a good thing to get it out there. There's a couple things on the application. We put this together real quick. If you're looking at the application as part of the packet, we have a couple addresses to put in there, which one is the board's address. There's one item in here that has to do with tax credits. We're tax exempt, so we won't apply. We won't need that. But if they'll put us on there, at least we'll get some I don't know how to say, media coverage on it. The other thing is I believe there's a photo that Teddy has, and I have some photos that we'll also release to let them put that on there. So that's what this document is. It's the resolution I bring to you is just to support that.
So it's simply a public awareness to help us maybe open it up for grants.
Yeah, Teddy could probably.
Sure.
Is that right?
It's not a grant program. What it is basically, again, it's gonna offer visibility. There are corporations, companies, individuals who look at this list every year and decide they wanna help. So this is a nomination which is due tonight, or end of day today, snuck up there. And so we're looking to be able to apply to get on that list. Unfortunately, federal funds that we, Mike and I applied for a year ago are just kind of frozen. We know that there's lots of different projects around, lots of fundraising. We've sort of exhausted all of the things that we could currently apply for. I've talked to each of you about, cash match, being over our threshold. So I really think this would be a good thing. No shame in it being there. This is a 150-year-old structure, timber that's been out in our elements. So I think this is, like I said, a good positive thing to get on there, just to get those extra eyes on it for the need that we have, and we'll see what happens from there.
Is this similar to the National Register endangered list? It's not.
No, this is just an Iowa program.
Okay.
Yep.
Will this open you up to donations maybe?
Could be. Somebody might see
Anywhere.
it.
From anywhere.
And
Yeah.
so a $1.2 million check would be great.
Great. That's what we'll take.
Or $1.2 million $1 check.
Sure.
Yeah.
Once it's up and out there, can you
Yes.
send us the link so that we can get it on the county website?
If we are
If we're-
accepted
yeah,
and they
if
put
we're
it on
awarded,
there, they
absolutely.
they still would have to accept
Okay.
us.
So they might not choose you
It's
to be on.
possible.
It's
Possible. So
But I will tell you, I serve on the Madison County Historic Preservation Commission. Linda Smith knows the people working at Preservation Iowa. They wanted us to apply for this for Holliwell Bridge. They heard that we intended to, and we're pretty excited about it, so fingers crossed, yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Teddy.
Mike.
Yep, thank you for your time.
Thanks. Good job laying out the need too on documentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Michelle, you are up.
Good evening, Michelle Brandt, Madison County Auditor. I'm going to start tonight with our county update. As you know, I called a meeting 3 weeks ago with solutions, establish a plan of action for expediting the balancing and being able to, finish our annual financial reports. Without this, I talked to Dom, they accepted a request to have our annual financial report for the accrual. There's no real penalty, but they did acknowledge that even though there aren't any immediate penalties or statutory options for extension, a penalty would be that we could not do our budgets and certify our taxes unless we have both of those reports submitted. It is imperative that they're done at least in January so we can move forward without budget issues. We also may receive a ding on our annual audit for not having our reports filed on time. The real estate process in Solutions is going well when I can get to it. The assessor side has been completed. The utility assessments that come out from the Iowa Department of Revenue have been entered. And the next step is valuations in TIF. Another thing that came up is the dissolution of the Orient-Maxburg School District. So we did some maintenance done on the Department of Management websites. Their maintenance on the tax districts. We dropped down into the budget process timeline. Again, we have a follow-up. The treasurer and the first deputy have weekly follow-ups with Solutions tomorrow. December 2nd, we met and reviewed the budget amendment items. December 8th, last night, the compensation board met. And they proposed, the BOS proposed a 0 increase for themselves. I stuck to my campaign promise of not more than the CPI index, and the rest was 5% is what I heard on the tape. So then we've got December 15th, 18th, and 19th set for the start of the initial budget presentations. I got quite a bit of work to do with each individual office. On Friday, we'll be shoring those up and making sure they don't need any more information from me, so we're ready for Monday. We will get those placeholders on the agenda, on the calendar. Max got those ready to go, and we'll reveal who's showing up for what by the end of the week. I do want to talk about the December 22nd budget amendment. That is in place. It's set to be published tonight, providing you'll set the hearing with the amendment. That was all on me. With the timing of the review and such, I needed 10 days and I only had allowed for 4, and that was my error. So I want to apologize to the public for the moving goalposts of our budget amendment, but I'm confident we're going to get it right, and that's what's important to me. Let's see, state audit report update, hot off the press. The drafts have been processed past, I don't know if you know Noel, but our audit representative. The next step is the attorney will send a letter with pending litigation. So they're waiting on pending litigation information from the attorney, our attorney. We still need to hold an exit conference for the fiscal year 24 audit with 1 board member, 1 treasurer, or the treasurer and myself. We'll discuss findings that will be reported and what's going to be not reported, and then they'll give us time to respond in writing. So we're a little ways away from that.
Are we done with are they done with 23 then? Does that mean they're done with 23?
Yeah, but I wouldn't know why they spoke about not needing an exit audit. So do you recall, was there an exit audit? Because that would have had to have been done.
That I don't know.
Okay, I'll just got this about, I don't know, 4:55 tonight, and
Okay.
so I'll hopefully in 2 weeks have more information. So,
Okay.
or maybe we'll even have an exit interview.
Okay.
Or, oh wait, I shouldn't say something like that. What's it called? A exit conference. Let's see, other areas of concentration. These are going to stay on until they're complete. I did make efforts and progress in I sent out an email to all department heads and elected officials about the necessity of VPN, who they wanted, and a good audit, and we did get that information back. Let's see, so that's, the next step is to implement that with solutions. Hey, this is what we need to change, and then we'll put it to resolution tomorrow. Courthouse custodian, we have individual staff meetings ongoing, nothing really new to report there. That's my overtime report for our department. That was in maintenance, and it was boiler work and the Festival of Lights. It was 11 hours. Again, every time they have to do overtime, I'm requiring that to be pre-approved through me. Public health. I guess my question is, do you guys want me to just generate a contract termination with that 2080 agreement? I am.
Actually, they have all that language in the new 2080, is my understanding.
Who's they?
The Board of Health, the two Board of Healths. So we have our Board of Health meeting tomorrow, so I'll be sitting on that. And my understanding is, I think Warren has already approved their side.
With their supervisors?
I don't know, well, last I heard, their Board of Health had approved it.
Correct.
I think it was on their supervisors this week.
Okay.
I don't know if that's been done.
I still want that to keep going. I mean, it'd be very easy just to terminate it, but if they've got it
They
handled.
have it handled in the language, their attorneys have looked it over, I'm just kind of
Okay.
waiting to see what they say.
If you just would make sure, number one, if it is classified as a 2080, it does need to hit the SOS.
Right.
And I would really like to have a copy, so that'd be amazing.
Well, I'm assuming once, cause I think tomorrow the Board of Health, I have to look at their agenda, I think tomorrow the Board of Health is gonna approve it, and then
Sure.
it comes to the supervisors,
Okay,
because that's how they wanted it doing, even though we don't really have that authority. It's
that's,
between the-
yeah,
But their, Board of Health prefers to have the signature from the supervisor.
because you're the stars.
Which is fine.
That's
So-
good,
So,
that's good,
when I get that, I will share it with you so we can get it on our next agenda.
thank you. Super, so the vault and IT room conversion, it's going along really well. The key lock will be finished not later than next Friday. The IT room has been emptied with the painters and flooring anticipated for next week. I needed to update you guys on FOIA and IPIB, for the Iowa Public Information Board. There's a lot of FOIA going on right now, a lot of folks, and with all due respect, it's great, I'm trying to get to them as fast as I can. There was some question, I got some email threads about who is the keeper of the Board of Supervisors emails. And so IPIB weighed in on that, and I will read. However, Chapter 22 requires government entities to designate an individual who will be responsible for Chapter 22 responses and compliance. If no one else has been designated, the auditor's legal responsibilities will require that they serve in that role. And they mentioned the fact that normally it's the county attorney, and because he no longer represents you, I am by default your keeper. So I just want you guys to know that. I did talk to Tom with Solutions over that concern, because I want to know what our contract provides for as far as that service. You know, is that something that we're gonna turn around and need to charge for? And again, he indicated that he would not release FOIA requests like to me for you, so that's good. But again, who's gonna do it then? So that's just probably maybe a different day, a different conversation, but I wanna keep you guys
So
abreast.
thank you for that, because I think we should have a deeper conversation.
I think we need to add it to the soonest agenda where we can talk through it and set those parameters. I know Steve had told me, I don't know, maybe in the spring that he was done and it was up to each of the department heads, and, you know,
Yeah,
of course, we wanna make sure we're all on the same page with.
And if we don't designate, which I'm happy to take on that role, I did as kind of the board clerk. But again, I just wanna be clear about, it is gonna fall in my lap.
Well, this sounds like legally it's yours anyway.
It is,
that correct?
well, I mean, again, within
Yeah.
reason.
But we need to talk through that,
Yeah.
because, you know, I've just been sending my request to Solutions to gather.
As a ticket.
as a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I need to be copying Michelle, so she can be aware, we need to talk through that.
And then I still need to finish the, and this will make it easier for you, is they're helping me walk through a SharePoint, like a SharePoint type site to where we can upload all that stuff. So we can actually do away with the chasing down the USB drives. You can actually put it up on a web thing, and then whoever's the requester can download it.
And we're gonna go over what items will be there and what won't.
Correct. But I have to work through that with solutions and how they're setting it up, and I haven't finished that yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
so, you're gonna work with solutions on
I'm
that?
gonna figure out how to do it and make sure it works. And
Okay,
then once I know it works,
all right,
you and I
If
can
it
sit
goes through
down.
the auditor, why don't you just let her do it?
fair enough, and I'm good sharing the love right now, okay?
Yeah, she can help
Anyway,
me out.
so,
I'm happy to help her.
then, I do have comments about, my conversation with Mauldin and the state, but I figured we take care of that after, when we talk about that resolution. All right, oh, any questions?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, the next one up is Thaddeus.
Hi, Thaddeus Smith. I'm Veterans Affairs guy. I have a statement here from my commissioners. They want to present it to the Board of Supervisors. Madison County Board of Supervisors, on behalf of the Veterans Affairs Board, we are writing to express our strong opposition to the proposed sale of our current building. This facility has served as a vital resource for the veterans in our community, and its location and design are essential to our fulfillment to our mission of providing accessibility, confidential, and compassionate support. Relocating services to the courthouse would create significant barriers for the veterans we serve. Item number one, poor accessibility for the veterans. The courthouse is not easily accessible for many veterans, particularly those with mobile challenges or transportation limitations. Our current building offers convenient access that ensures veterans can reach us without undue hardship. Lack of ADA compliancy. The courthouse does not meet the standards required under the Americans with Disabilities Act. This would severely impact veterans with disabilities, preventing them from receiving the assistance they need in a dignified and equal manner. Loss of privacy. Confidentially, it is a cornerstone of the services we provide. The courthouse environment cannot guarantee the privacy of veterans required when seeking help for sensitive issues. Without this assurance, many veterans feel uncomfortable or unwilling to reach out, resulting in a decline in the number of individuals receiving crucial support. Selling our building would compromise the quality and accessibility of services of those who have served our country. We urge you to reconsider the decision and prevent the facility that allows us to meet the unique needs of our veteran communities. Thank you for your attention in this matter and for your continued commitment to supporting our veterans. Respectfully, all of the commissioners.
Did you want us to receive and file that?
Yes, please.
May I have a motion to receive
So
and
moved
file?
to receive and file. You may approach.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Thaddeus.
All I
Thaddeus.
had.
Can I ask a follow-up question? So, I guess you had had previous conversations with the commission, and I know, much of these concerns were also concerns expressed by us about going to the courthouse, that you were pretty adamant that you did not wanna go to the,
Here,
Let's rewind. My first option is to stay in the building, but you guys said that was completely off the table. So that's why I said between this building or the courthouse was a better fit. But what the commissioners were saying is that they want to stay in the same building, just like option A.
I understand.
okay, thank you.
thank you. Okay, next one, Tammy.
Tammy Owens, Madison County Elderly Services.
So we currently have our annual audit through a CPA, and over the last 5 years, that fee has doubled. And with our last meeting, in November, we spoke with the CPA on how can we get those costs down, because we're a very small nonprofit. We do important work, but we're still a small nonprofit. So they did, say that they provide an auditor's report. They said that they could provide an accountant's report for about half the cost. So that is what I am requesting, if you guys are okay with accepting an accountant's report. You know, it's always available upon your request, and basically the format's the same. I always upload the file to the CPA. They go through everything. They ask for certain documents to check everything, and we get the same report. They still do our tax return. That's basically what I'm asking.
Tammy, your bills are pretty consistent, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes, so it's kind of rote for him, because it's pretty consistent.
Yes, I mean, I upload the file to them. It's pretty, yeah, we are very consistent.
I don't have an issue.
I don't even have an issue.
You don't have an issue. So I think you've got consensus.
All
I
right,
think
thank you.
thanks for doing it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lonnie.
Thanks, Tammy.
All right, we are now at the time for public comment. We're gonna go ahead and take folks from public comment who are here in the room. And then when we're done there, we will go to the folks on the phone that wish to comment. So who would like to come up and comment? Please state your name and the town you're from. You will have 3 minutes to speak.
Santa. Dude.
Hi, I'm Sandy Dawdy, and my husband and I live here in Winterset. We have come to a lot of meetings since we've moved to town. So what I would really like to do tonight is make sure that the things in my head are the things that I actually see here at the meetings. I just want to be sure I'm on the same page as everybody else. So I'm just going to read some statements that I wrote earlier today, and as long as you agree with me, I'll just keep reading statements, but if I come to one that you don't agree with, I hope you'll tell me. Madison County is a great place to live. Madison County has a lot of tourist attractions that boost our economy, as well as many small businesses. Over the years, people in Madison County have been kind, generous, and caring, and we've found that since we've moved here too. You all ran for the supervisor position because you want Madison County to succeed. You are a supervisor because you care about the people of Madison County and their well-being. In the last year, Madison County has had a lot of negative publicity. You agree the publicity is harmful to Madison County. The new auditor was elected to the position by an overwhelming majority of residents, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. Michelle Brandt is well qualified for the auditor's position. As a county supervisor, you want to do everything in your power to make sure that she has the staff she needs to execute her job for the people of Madison County. Thank you. I just want to be sure we're all on the same page.
Okay, anyone else wish to, sorry, did you?
Oh, I didn't know if she wanted to submit them into record or not. Oh, her comments.
Did you want to submit those into receiver file?
If you are interested in taking them.
So moved to receive and file.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right.
Vicky, Brenner, Winterset.
Madison County Supervisors, we are drowning in hasty decisions, none more critical than stopping the North Annex sale without transparency and selecting the right auditor to perform our audit for the next 3 years. We need to stop the sale of the North Annex immediately until full transparency is guaranteed. No thorough cost-benefit analysis was conducted before outsourcing public health services. The North Annex is already ADA compliant, standards the courthouse lacks. Our veterans deserve clear, honest communication on how these services will be impacted by this rushed decision. Multiple FOIA requests remain unanswered on this topic. Whatever public health agreement exists between Madison and Warren counties should be publicly released. Taxpayers should know who will cover any budget shortfalls for which Warren County has already stated they refuse to assume. This is about shielding irreplaceable community assets and rebuilding public trust from the perspective of every taxpayer footing the bill. Madison County residents demand full disclosure and crystal clear plans for every dollar. Our money, our future, no more secrets. Yet another critical decision is selecting who will complete Madison County's audit for the next 3 years. While reducing cost and improving efficiency are important goals, key facts demand careful consideration. The former treasurer was arrested mid-FY25 for alleged theft and record tampering, which has complicated the audit process. Madison County has cycled through 4 different auditors in a year, and the audit has not been completed since FY22 due to the former treasurer's lack of cooperation. The board's RFP failed to disclose these serious legal and financial fiscal challenges, including the deletion of the budget. I can't believe this happened, under appointed Auditor Schwartz. 2 bids are on the table. The State of Iowa Auditor's Office, with deep institutional knowledge, proposing 1,000 hours, and Mauldin and Jenkins of Georgia, new to Iowa audits, proposing just 550 hours. No private CPA firms in Iowa submitted a proposal. I think that's significant. Mauldin and Jenkins have never done a county audit in Iowa. I just keep asking myself, what's the connection here? Whether it's Bergman, Ostergren, Schwartz, Bowl, Parley, and now Irwin, there's always a connection, isn't there? I respectfully ask that you receive and file this.
Do I have a motion? Is there a motion? Second, receive and file.
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Okay, anyone else here that wishes to speak?
T Tuel, Whelchel Winterset. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about setting aside $50,000 for more legal fees. I don't see that on today's agenda. Was there any decision made with that?
I'm against it, but.
So you haven't discussed it or made a decision on whether you're gonna set aside
We'll be talking about
$50,000 of
that
tax?
later. We'll be
tax
talking
upfront?
about that later in the meeting.
Good. Transparency is not a big thing around here.
Okay, anyone else wish to speak?
Mike Fletcher, Winterset. As Mrs. Brenner has pointed out, there's always a connection, and I'm not gonna go back through all the names. But it just makes me wonder, especially with you, Heather, and your husband, if there's any kind of a family connection with this auditing firm in Georgia, since that's where he's from. If
No.
anybody works at that firm that might be related to you guys.
My husband hasn't lived in Georgia in 30 years.
Well, you didn't
So,
hesitate to
no,
go
there is
there to
not.
get a
There is
minister
not.
to testify for him at one of these meetings.
Please leave my husband out of this. I appreciate that.
Do you have any family connections with the accounting firm?
No,
So you're going on record.
I'm going on record.
All right, thank you, that's all I needed.
All right, any other comments? All right, we're gonna move to the folks on the phone. Please hit *6 if you wish to comment. Just understand we have a 3-second delay on the conference bridge, so please be patient with us. We don't mean to talk over you if that's the case. Make sure you hit *6 to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Is there anyone on there?
Is anyone unmuted? Okay, give 1 more minute. All right, we're gonna move on.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Hannah David, Winterset. I definitely echo some of the concerns that have previously been voiced. Can you, I guess I'm also kind of confused. I thought there was a bidding procedure in place, and why wasn't any other auditing firm in Iowa looked into to keep, the money within our economy, our local and state economy?
Well, they simply didn't bid.
We did an RFP, request for proposal, that was put out there to bid on September 23rd. So it was public.
Where was it put out to bid? Like, how, I guess I'm confused that it's put out to bid and the only person that bid the bid was a firm in Georgia?
Yeah, it was published, it was put out on multiple public sites, and it was on our website.
And the state did respond.
And the state did respond, and there were, I sent invitations to bid to several firms that I got off the state auditor site, as well as the CPA Association site, I forget the name.
We got a lot of
So do I need to
denials.
submit a request? Yeah, do I need to submit a request for information to see what sites this was published on and the firms that you reached out to?
We have a couple people that already submitted that, we're working on gathering that. If you wanna submit an email, we can add you to the list. When it's prepared, we can send it out.
It's just as concerning as somebody who's paying their tax dollars to, not feel like the community gets to be informed in a decision that the board, it feels like it's being rushed through. And of course, as is the standard and as is the pattern, will pass with a 2-to-1 vote.
They're listed on the
Anywho,
website, right?
just would like my comment to be recorded and
So
filed.
maybe let her know.
Oh, just so you know, the RFP is still listed on the website. If you wanna read it, you can see, what was put out there for bid.
No, I'm more interested in knowing where this was published and who all you heard from or reached out to in Iowa that denied you.
Okay, if you wanna send that email, we can include you in the response to the other folks that have requested it.
What email address does that need to go to?
You can send it to the board, that'd be good.
Or the auditor.
Or the auditor, yeah.
The auditor issue.
And then you can just forward it,
Perfect, I'll send it to the auditor.
because I
Great,
still have that
thank you.
outstanding ticket for solutions for that.
Got it.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? All right, we'll move on to resolutions for board consideration. Let's go ahead, before I forget, let's do the resolution for the public hearing. So, yes, may I have that? And then could you read them? All right, we'll go ahead, since it's an amendment, I'll go ahead and read this to the public. It says, be hereby resolved by the Madison County Board of Supervisors that the public hearing for a budget amendment of the fiscal year ending 2026 shall be scheduled for the following date and time at the designated location. Day is Monday, December 22nd at 8 a.m. here in the annex. And that is AO Resolution 120925B. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. The other one, I know we went out a little order, but I just didn't wanna forget that. Next one is approving the hire of L Greenman as part-time second deputy at $27.25 per hour effective December 9th. Michelle, I know this was originally on here because we had planned to have the public hearing today. Is there an issue, because this was kind of contingent on the budget amendment being
I
approved?
don't see any issue.
So, because right now, you're over budget, so how?
I'd like to get her started, please. There's not an issue. As long as you don't go over your ending balance on your fund balances, we're not over that. We may be a different part, we be different, between your expenses and where your percentage is in it, but that's what the budget amendment will fix.
Okay. So,
So she'll really, December 25th is Christmas, is that when?
well, the
See, that's
22nd is
gonna
when
have to do
we're
with that.
scheduling to consider approval of the budget.
Right now, we're just talking about my resolution to hire.
I know, but it says,
It says December 9th.
Effective the 9th, it's 9/20.
oh, I got
December
it.
25th.
I
And
got it.
originally, and this was
I got it,
originally,
thank you.
yeah, originally was, we had assumed we would do the budget amendment today and that would be okay.
But
So
as
that's-
long as you don't go over your fund for your budget, we're not over that fund, we are okay.
All right.
I double checked with another auditor, in case you, just want you to know.
Do I have a motion to approve, the hire of L Greenman as part-time second deputy, effective December 25?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. All opposed, motion carries. And the next one is the one we are tabling.
Tabling, yeah.
Correct? So we're gonna table, AO 120925B, which is the impoundment structure for partial property tax exemption. We're gonna get that on the next agenda. Probably, yeah.
So is that typically, I'm sorry, I should probably
They're
sit over
really
there and
due in
sit down.
February.
I always get mad when people sit over in the corner and they don't, you can't hear them. But anyway, just, isn't that something we typically do in the spring, or
No.
after the first of the year? No?
They're usually around due in February. What
Well,
probably,
that's right, well, okay, after the first of the
yeah,
year.
in February is usually when they're due. They have to have it in.
Yeah, they have to have them in. A lot of times though, in the past, I think Shelley started working on them now. And usually it was like the first week or so in January is.
Okay.
Well, so I'll have to look back at when we passed.
There won't be any problem putting it on,
No. They're all
not the
ready.
second, but the next meeting after that. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes, SWCD said it was fine. Sean has them ready. I just requested, I want the impounds under the resolution so you can see.
If we don't have
what
to
each
cram it in
structure
before
is.
the end of the year, that'd be.
We don't have to. She's fine with
So it could
it.
be, so maybe
Could be the last
month
meeting in
from now?
December.
She said the first one in January.
1st of January.
Well, the first one in January, remember,
Well, not
is
the
the
second.
organization
The
meeting.
regular.
It's
It could
the
be
first regular.
First regular.
It could be December 30th, that next meeting. They're ready. It's just got, they have to do a correction.
So that would be January 13th, correct?
I believe so.
That would
That should
work.
be.
Or the 30th would work.
Okay. All right, so we're tabling that for now, and then we'll let her work out when we bring it forward again. The next one is approving
Need to
this,
vote on
oh, that's right, we have to
To
table it.
that. I'll make a motion to table AO 120925B.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on tabling? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, it is tabled. The next one is approving historic property rehabilitation tax exemption of Madison County renovations and Aspen Real Estate LLC. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, the next one is approving joining the Southern Iowa Local Emergency Planning Committee effective January 1, 26. Is Mitch here? This was requested by Mitch. It doesn't cost us anything. It's just to leverage economies of scale and aggregate help. So,
And the counties that he's teaming up with, he has been collaborating with and teaming up with.
this is just
so
making it
just-
official.
makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So, yeah, and so mutual aid, so if there's an
Yeah.
issue in one county, they can provide mutual aid to the other county, so I think that is a great idea. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going on to wage increase for, T Tuel from $16 to $20 an hour, effective today. This is for EMS. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next one is approving the hire of M DuShane as part-time paramedic, $20 an hour, effective 13 December. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, I didn't mean to walk on you there.
No,
The next one is approving the hire of outside contractor for audit services. So, Michelle, thank you for putting this together, your feedback on that. I did send the board, I put together my own personal template to organize my thoughts on looking at each of the bids. I basically just took what was in the RFP and plunked it into a spreadsheet, so we could go through that.
Did you send that to me?
I think I just sent it to the supervisors. I can forward you that template. Let me click to that real quick.
That was very helpful, by the way, and I added a few on top.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Let me just give this to her so she can follow along. All right, it's on its way, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay. Alright, so I don't know who wants to start on this.
Do you want a motion first and then discuss it, or?
However you guys wanna do it.
That's probably what you need to do.
You should. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve? Oh, wait, we haven't picked
Consider.
anybody yet.
Yeah.
Motion to consider, we haven't really picked anybody yet, so we probably should
Consider.
talk about that. Okay, so we'll just start, if you guys want to, from the top. Go through the RFP, unless you have other ideas, it's up to you.
I wonder if we can, clearly, Mauldin and Jenkins' RFP response was far more professional, detailed, and inclusive of information. So I wonder if, I've got a few questions just from Michelle, with your experience with the state, and that piece of it. Maybe we kind of just talk about the state piece of it first? Sure. If that's okay? And then you had mentioned 23, 24 audits previously. I understand there were issues with the treasurer, caused some delays, and we've had some turnover. We've had this same treasurer, the interim treasurer, who became our treasurer most of the calendar year. All right.
I'm not really comfortable speaking for Kylie.
Okay, so but from your perspective, what are the holdups on the 23 and 24 audits? I know you referenced it in your update.
I did, and so prior to Kylie being in the role of treasurer was Amanda. And that's what's referenced in the letters I think you guys have seen. So that's my, the reason I talk about that.
And then I know, Mr. Swanson has mentioned he's mentioned in past meetings that he needs to be aware of any litigation. He needs to give a report to the state auditor. Do you know a timeline on when potentially he could have that?
I do not.
Okay.
So you're going back up to my notes, the state auditor notes?
Yeah, I'm
no
looking
worries.
at
I
your
just want to
notes.
make sure we're in the same
Yeah,
area.
because I know you referenced it, so I was just starting there.
I just guess I reference that so you guys know that I'm continually reaching back out to the state.
Yeah.
Because I do kind of, I mean, they are related, but that I'm just making sure that I'm not dropping a ball here.
Yeah, I appreciate you staying on top of it, thank you. I know one of the things referenced in the state response was, design of relevant policies and valuations. And, you know, you're newer to the auditor role, you've had some experience with the auditor previously. Is that something they've been doing?
That's actually something even, David Irwin talked about today when I visited with him today. So I wanted to give everybody a, you know, a good, I enjoyed my conversation with him.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and read an auditor report.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious, the state's, you know, owned this for us for a very long time,
And they have.
so I'm wondering if we
And
possibly.
there's a familiarity there, and there's a,
Yeah.
you know, a natural lean towards me, number one, just because they know who all of our files are that I maybe haven't seen yet. So, and I find comfort in that. But I just came to, so that, hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Well, I know that the training is referenced, and laid out with the training available through, Mauldin Jenkins, and they're pretty specific about it. So that's where I was wondering with the state, if you are not a client and we don't contract with them, are you still going to have their training resources available as a county in Iowa? Do you
So,
know?
being unfamiliar as to what, CPA training I would need, the training I'm gonna avail myself of is, other auditors in Iowa. So again, I really didn't think that was part of, if they may reference that as a future feature, but I didn't see it as part of the audit. Does that make sense?
Well, the state referenced that they provided training, but they weren't, like I said, they weren't specific, you know, however, the Mauldin and Jenkins talks about, you know, quarterly ongoing free training that's included, 30 hours annually.
Yeah, we get that from Dom, we get that, excuse me, not Dom, but we get that from ISAC. I mean, a lot of it is ISAC, you know,
So
and
the other
that's the one we're
entities.
gonna put our eggs in that basket, because they're Iowa familiar base, they know what's coming at you. So I have to apologize, I didn't put a lot of stock in this online, these portals. So I'm worried about, I'm more concerned about the timing and the completion of this first audit and how that's gonna go.
Yeah, and we can certainly
There's some
talk.
sort of really value, but, so.
Yeah, we can talk about that, but I guess what I was trying to get to is, we still have those other training resources available in the state of Iowa, even if we were to contract with Mauldin and Jenkins. So in essence, we would be expanding that window for training opportunities and information. Does that make sense?
It does.
Or do you see any problems with that logic?
No, not at all.
Is it true that if you hire an outside source, can't the
Yes.
public request that the state does it anyway? Yeah.
I'm thinking about
No
time,
cost.
Yeah.
No cost.
so.
Well,
So
in
either
the-
way, we're protected.
And the timing, the number of hours, you know, that was glaringly different. I know that Mauldin and Jenkins, you know, talks about, 48% of our partner and manager involvement. The state doesn't define that. I struggle to find any government entities that are efficient and do things well. So I guess if I have a firm that says they can do it in half the time and do it better and give us more, I'm highly inclined to entertain that, and for a lot less money. Saving us around $100,000 over 3 years.
My, all of my years of experience of working with the government, and you hire outside source, is, they go to 550 hours. If they cannot complete it in 550 hours, they will request an amendment or an addendum to, or they can not complete it. The state goes up to 1,000 hours. If they do it in 600, they're done.
So because they're more Because they're inefficient, we should reward them.
I don't know that they're inefficient. I think they have a full understanding
Okay.
of what they're into, and because they've been doing it, we're in a mess if you reach out to them, and so I think they have a better understanding. If they get it done in 600 hours, they're done. Private sector, if they're not done in 550, they're much more expensive per hourly, if you break it down. So my concern is this could
Not
get
that
very,
much more expensive.
it's more expensive, it's cost,
So
it's
both
more
of these
costly.
RFPs, they've responded and they've given us a number, a not to exceed number. And they say if there are any
These are
changes or
not to exceed.
No,
quantifies,
this one doesn't say not to
well,
exceed.
based on the scope, this is their number, right? This is the number they've given us.
Let me, okay, I don't have the hard copy.
That's not how I understood my conversation today.
I
They're
think
not
I-
guaranteeing
Right.
that they'll be done in 550. He said he thinks they will.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
does
well,
that make sense?
I
That's-
contacted him
that's-
also.
Did you talk to him?
I did, 9-2.
So, that's true of both of them, though. They
Both of them
get
have a
both.
stipulation that if there's anything goofy, they reserve the right to charge.
Right.
State's up to
Subject to
1,000 hours, which is almost double, so
Um,
And I'm really just here to share my concerns and then you guys will,
right.
Would you like to expand then? Go
I
ahead.
will, and that way you guys then can discuss.
Mhm.
So again, like you said, the disparity in hours, is almost double. And he did feel he'd gotten the number right and acknowledged that he knew all about our FY 25 challenges. He did not think that would change the time that they would need to complete the audit. The rates, you are correct, their rates are higher, so if they do go up, it'll be exponentially. Again, I'm not landing one way or the other. Then they also, this is a big thing for me, is they're using a virtual port or a Dropbox. And when I asked, because I know you guys have been in contact with him, is who has access to that information? And he said that it was discussed that the board chair would potentially be able to go in and look. He agreed that that was not customary.
He asked if we wanted the board to be able to look at it, not touch it, to see where everything's at.
Sure,
And that's what I
sure.
said, the board may.
Okay,
So if that's not something.
that's an issue,
Okay.
not because I don't love y'all, but the point is, I just think we get so,
I do too far out.
I want you to trust me that you're going to get time, that's why I'm gonna come here every 2 weeks and I give you an excruciating, boring report. I want you to know that you have full access to everything to the best of my ability.
So can I explain to you why I asked that question?
Okay.
So the reason why I asked that question is because of fiscal 23 and 24. We had no idea where it was going on. We had no idea who was doing anything. I like the idea of having basically, for lack of a better term, like a SharePoint site.
That's the word I couldn't come up with
Yeah,
for my
a
report.
SharePoint site, to where it would show you what's outstanding, who has what's going on, because we've had such lack of information on these audits for quite some time as a board. So, and we are ultimately, the buck stops with us on that. So I asked him, is it possible to have just like read only, so where we can see what's going on? And he did say, yes, we could do that. He says we could do whatever access you want, however the board or the county decides. So that was a clarification question on that. And regarding, so I could understand more of how that works, I actually called the two entities in Iowa that do use them, the city of Dubuque and the city of West Des Moines, and I spoke to their folks there. They love the site. They said it makes their job so much easier because they know who has what, where things are stuck, and they don't have to worry about all these emails going back and forth like we do right now. So they think that was amazing and they love it. So,
And I would embrace that as well, but I wanna be the one that embraces it and be at the point of contact.
Yeah.
So I hope that you
So
will
what I
allow
did-
me to be that person.
what I did not ask them is if there's a way you can like pull a report and send it to, and give, I neglected to ask them that. If that's something that could be done, that I think is part of your,
That was my idea, we could do, I would be willing, because again, this should not go on ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And we could do a weekly Teams meeting
Yeah.
with, you guys pick a designee, so we don't have to have a board meeting. but pick a designee to interface with me on a weekly basis, happy to do it, just know that that's out there too.
So, I think that would be great, if it can be, if it's simple as just a report included in the report, or like you said, that's fine, as long as something is
And
given
if,
to
you know, I mean, I don't
supervisors.
mind facilitating that with your decision of who you want to be the point of contact. And then my last item was, the travel expenses are on there, and so, you know, I did ask him, I said, well, what does that look like for you guys, since you haven't been in Dunn County yet? I mean, he said that they usually are getting done sooner than what they bid in most of their jobs, but the point is I don't want that to be a moving target, so, that was my concern. You know, oh wait, we were gonna be here 3 weeks instead of 1 week, which substantially changes that cost. And then I did confirm that we're not locked into a 3-year contract in case things go south. So,
Are they familiar with all the federal and the road use and all the stuff of the
I do not know that.
secondary road? Cause
I
that's
don't know
gonna
that.
be way out. Or the state's familiar with that, but are they going to be familiar with that?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're certified in Iowa, so they should be.
You deal with entities in Iowa. That have
Well,
road
they
crews.
cities, but I mean, they do other counties into other states, he did tell me that.
He's into Omaha. All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, so, did you have anything else? So, okay, so, I basically, for my review, and thank you for both your feedback, and thank you for your feedback, Michelle. I basically went through the RFP to see, line by line regarding the response requirements, the evaluation criteria, and then any extra add-ons that were not necessarily part of the RFP, but was, I think, value add. The SureLink, or i.e. SharePoint site, I think that was a huge value add, as was the training. The pricing was the biggest one for me, and the fact that they will have a bigger team working with this based on what they quoted versus what the state auditor quoted. There's to be 2 partners, 1 full-time manager, 2 staff, and they have a staff retention of 85%. What also impressed me is their partner actually serves on the board that develops the standards for CPAs nationwide. So that was a surprise. So I was very impressed with that. So they seem to know their stuff. I wish they had more stuff in Iowa other than the 2. But the 2 cities that I talked to were very impressed with their services. And they did say things are moving a lot faster with them than they ever had with the state. And given the pain we've encountered with what we've been going through, I'd like things to move fast. So there's not as much constant.
As long as I find where that $100,000 went, I do not care.
So,
It's just we're working on it.
So over the 3 years, it's $104,250 difference. And that is a significant amount of money.
But they can, if they choose to leave after their 550, they can.
Well, that wouldn't be very good customer service if they're trying to.
Did you also, can I also interject that, you know, that, do they know that in Iowa there's additional, Solutions mentioned something about additional, gosh, now I've lost that. There's additional requirements in Iowa for, I'll circle back with Solutions on that. Cause they warned me about that, but now it escapes
And
me.
it could be that they do, we just didn't know the question to ask. So,
But I'd like to point out the timeline, you know, the anticipated timeline. Now, that's gonna be subject to change, I understand that. But they're engaging, I believe, in December. And they are preparing, they're doing a lot of more preparation. It appears that the state's just gonna start in April. to do it, and then the state would have it to us by August 31st next year. Mauldin would, and Jenkins would have it by June 30th as far as their RFP response goes. So even with that, I'm a little bit leery, can the state even hit that timeline? When, you know, these delays are not helpful, obviously. So I was looking for that chart.
In fairness with that, in fairness to the state, Mauldin and Jenkins can't really do anything until the 23 and 24 are done. But that's true with anybody. And that probably depressed, to be honest with you, that probably depressed the number of response, or lack of responses we got. It's because there was no audit available for them to look at, which is unfortunate. So, so kudos to Mauldin for taking it on, or willing to bid. But yeah, the timeline that they put on there, I think, was very helpful, and I think would be helpful to, if things shift, to get updates from them, if we were to choose them.
Yeah.
I would want an updated timeline, and at least for the supervisors to know how things are moving along, and how the timeline shifts.
Yeah, because hopefully, if everybody's at the top of their game, Michelle, you're getting engagement earlier on, and they're giving you advance notice, and they're being proactive with information that they have coming down the pipe that they're gonna need, right?
Okay, who?
Whatever auditing firm you're working with.
Okay, we're on, okay, yep. Well, that is good. I mean, both the state and Mauldin have asked, I already know what reports we need to produce,
Okay.
when we're able to produce them.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't have heartburn over when we're gonna start this thing, because we're still coming up from air. So
Sure.
thank you for considering a resolution and approving that.
Yeah, you bet.
I just, like I said, that causes my blood pressure to go up, thinking about starting an audit even before January, so again, we could maybe let the
Well,
reporters.
that wasn't my expectation when I saw that. I was gonna wait and see what the board decided, and then we could tell them, thank you for
Yeah, we
your,
don't have to start.
thank you for your gung-ho-ness, but, we need to slow the roll a little bit. But I still, even if we shift, I'm hoping they can, if we choose them, they would be able to provide an updated timeline and ongoing changes to the board with your.
I would like to be that person that you rely on to be the interface.
To get the updated timeline, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
When you make your decision, hand it off, I promise not to drop the ball.
Okay.
All right.
There were two other differentiators at Mauldin and Jenkins. This popular annual financial report, I'd like to learn more. I understand it'd be an additional cost, but I tell you what, there's, I'm connected with some supervisors from across the state, and they're putting together some information, some great information regarding the budget and financials and graphs and charts. I don't know if that's what this is, you know, but it's something to entertain if there's some way to simplify this in the reporting for reports for the public, right? You know, that are easier to understand and digest. From what I read, that's the intention of this.
Well, I think that has to do with the actual audit. I think what you're talking about is budgets, what the supervisors do when they're doing their budgets, and they put all the, some counties have the ability to do that, where they put the pie charts up and all that beautiful stuff, and you can move things around, and there are companies out there that do that kind of interactive stuff.
Is PAFR isn't going to do that?
I don't think that's what it is. We can get that clarification, but I don't think that's what that is.
Okay, I'll do a little bit more research on that. But then the other thing was the IT vulnerability assessment. I understand, you know, you're serving in that role, and we're also engaged with solutions, but that's been on one of my lists for quite some time, is just to understand it, you know, and I know we're doing some safety training and things like that. I'm like, okay, what about IT safety, right, and security and things like that, so.
We could ask more what that is. It could just be stuff that they found in their experience. When they did these budgets, they saw vulnerabilities and shared it with the client. I don't know. I saw that too, but I was more hyper-focused on that.
Yeah, and and rightfully so, but my interest was piqued, with some value that they have there.
So they certainly had a lot to offer. The resumes of their staff were very impressive.
Is it possible for someone to scan these and post them on our website?
We have soft copies that we've distributed to everybody. I mean, they were FOIA'd. And-
Can we put them on the website?
Yeah, I wouldn't know why I couldn't send an electronic document over. It went pretty
Once we
easily.
made a decision, put the information out there.
I'd like to put both.
Okay.
I'd like to put both, so the citizens, can see the differences between the two.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so, that's kind of all my thoughts. To your point, Michelle, about, what if it takes longer than the 550 hours? $104,000 is a lot to play with. So I hear that, but I would like to try someone that can save, the taxpayers some money and has significant amount of expertise. I have also talked to, in addition to the actual cities that use them, I have talked to other auditors that not necessarily use them, but they have decided to go to independent CPA firms because of their frustrations with the state. So we are not alone in our frustration with the state. And these are folks that probably don't have the same amount of issues that we do when they're frustrated with the state. So I would like, me personally, I would like to move forward with Mauldin Jenkins. So I don't know what you guys think.
We discuss and we go to vote.
I'm opposed, and I'm gonna vote nay, because I don't wanna send my taxpayers' money out of state. I have worked for government most of my life, and I have found when you cross over with private sector to government, private sector will always win, because government will fold and pay more. That's why you get a $189 hammer. Now, private sector can win against government, because government will fold, but I am not comfortable with this. I think the state might be slow, but they're in the weeds with us right now. They know what mess we're in, they've been doing it, and I think we should stay.
Well, I think we've been accepting less than. I think we need to get this stuff wrapped up. I think, seriously, citizens, if you look at these RFP proposals with a reasonable, when they're available, with a reasonable mind, glaring difference in professionalism and what they have to offer. And then you dive into the weeds, there's a big difference. So I am absolutely for.
You need to ask for a vote, you need to vote.
Okay, I'm trying to find the resolution on here in the packet.
Yeah, so we help her out.
Oh, it's right there, I'm sorry. Here, okay. So, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Whereas Iowa Code 11.6 permits government subdivisions to contract with independent certified public accounting firms to conduct their annual audits or required physical examinations. And whereas on September 23rd, Madison County Board of Supervisors approved resolution SPP 092325 to issue an RFP requesting sealed bid proposals from qualified independent certified public accounting firms to conduct the county annual audit or fiscal year examinations for FY 25, 26, and 27. And whereas the sealed bids for these services have been received and reviewed by the Madison County Board of Supervisors, be it hereby resolved that the Madison County Board of Supervisors approves Mauldin Jenkins as the independent certified public accounting firm to provide the annual county auditor fiscal year examination services for FY 25, 26, and 27 for a total 3-year cost of $217,500. Unless you guys want to itemize each one. Are you okay with the title, with the total there, or you want to itemize each one?
Yeah, total for 3 years, fine, but we need to make a motion for it.
Okay, yeah, I'll entertain a motion for that resolution.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I have a question. If it goes over the first year, then do we have to revisit that, the resolution, or they just eat up that total amount? For
I would
3
think it'd
years?
be easier to just eat up the total amount and revisit it regardless. But it's up to the
Like,
board.
so they, let's, devil's advocate, year one, they use 2 years worth of dollars, devil's advocate. Then, do we, we only have 1 year of budget left?
Mhm. Yeah, we'll need
Just wanna
to,
make sure we're all clear
we
on
need to
that.
stay on top of it, so,
Yeah, to me, it's a year by year basis, right?
yeah.
Not the way we're talking about it now.
They're not gonna use year 2 ahead if we go over it.
No, I don't think so.
They have
We
to
don't
amend
think
it,
so,
they
but the
will.
way, if you approve it that way,
So what do you say, what do you?
I suggested you put,
The
For
annual,
the actual annual cost?
the actual annual cost
Okay.
as, and then reference
Yeah.
the bid date, is that fair?
yeah, that makes sense.
And that way, that's the one way we can stay on top of it.
All right,
Thank you.
let me get the,
Do you have those amounts? You want me to pull that?
I'm going up myself.
I mean, we don't have a current situation. So,
Okay, so we'll go ahead, fiscal years, 25, the amount is 70,000. Fiscal year 26, the amount is 72,005, and fiscal year 27 is 75,000. And we'll put those individually on this resolution, so do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I will second that. Any discussion? Any other, does that meet your, are you good with that?
I think it's great.
Okay. All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Did you wanna reach out to them, or how do you wanna?
I would like to take
Okay.
the lead now,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Okay, all right, so. put that
I'll
down.
call him tonight. I'm sure he's waiting on the phone.
I think he's in Omaha.
He's all over, yeah, so it's good. It's good, that's
All
fine.
right, okay, so the next one is approving the posting of hours of operation sign at Monument Park. We discussed this at our last meeting. The board said for consistency purposes, we wanted to match, the city of Winterset, since it is in the city of Winterset. So we'll go ahead and approve that. I will, go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the posting of hours of operation sign at Monument Park.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll go ahead and the approving of the application for nomination of the Holliwell Covered Bridge for the Preservation of Iowa's 2026 most endangered properties. That's what Mike talked about earlier. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll go ahead and go to board reports. Who's going to go first?
Go ahead, Diane.
Well, I attended active shooter, CCOG, we did budgets, HERDA, and then I had a special meeting. Is Jason here? I would like to make a suggestion. The hospital also takes active shooter. I think it is very beneficial if we mix entities, because, during the meeting, you learn a great deal from the hospital perspective because they get the casualties as learning what to do, and I think I'm gonna reach out to Dawn. I really think that would be beneficial to cross-train us because of how that works.
Yep.
So if we do it again, because then you get that whole different perspective. When we did the sex trafficking quite a few years ago, the hospital and the schools were all present, and you get a whole different perspective, and Dawn was very good about having people speak to one another, and I think it's a really good learning. So I'd like to see us if the hospital's willing to train that, I think it's a good idea.
Oh, Dawn and you get together and talk it out?
Yeah,
Good
and if
for
he
you.
doesn't like it, that's fine, but I think we could think about that maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
And I can mention the safety committee on, are there any other entities you're thinking about? I mean, it's kind of.
Well, the schools
That
have
was
their own, they go
yeah.
into the schools, but, I found that the hospital, it's a whole different, because they're actually getting, and I think it's a really good learning tool.
Yeah. So the committee talked about kind of mixing that up and having some online virtual training, but we want to have in-person training, whether it's quarterly or, so we'll definitely talk about that.
Kelly and I are gonna look into, there are a lot of trainings on eGov, and I used to take all the eGov trainings, but those are very beneficial. And those are free. So I could look through those too. All right, that's all I have.
Like Diane mentioned, got the active shooter training, Deputy Kinney did a good job on that, that was really beneficial. Various random meetings and our budget amendment meeting that we had, comprehensive board meeting. We do have ISAC district meeting coming up this Thursday. I do plan to attend. Are you ladies attending as well? Are you both? So looking forward to that. That's always great to get in a room with some other counties and other supervisors to talk through ideas. And I also wonder about just when we go through our scheduling, we need time. I think we talked about having some work time, talking about the custodians of record. I would like to talk about just contracted services in relation to the budget and things that would,
Just like a work session, kind of a catch-all.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea because there's a couple departments, on there that we have funds in that have never spent any money, like social services. And they're just kind of placeholders and no one seemed to be able to answer the questions what they're for.
If you will allow me, that's, I'm pretty good. So meaning to dive in historically, go back into the general ledgers and maybe research where that came from. Does that make sense?
I think I can.
So again, you guys, can
That'd be great.
spend your time doing that, or I can do it.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's
That's
only
what I
gonna
kind of-
help me
Yeah.
direct staff.
Yeah.
This is where this comes, like, there's a good question right now with, 622, one of the grants, is it an in and out grant? So now I'm gonna reach out to that county's auditor who has that same grant, emergency management, EMA, and find out, how do you handle that?
It's
But
a
it's usually
pass-through,
it's
isn't it?
usually for those that, like for the Earlham grants, it's on the revenue side as the grants and
I
then it's on the
understand that.
expenditure side.
But
Well,
it
they're
does that,
pass-throughs, aren't they?
Right,
Yeah.
what I was talking about was, the ones that they've been standing department budgets, and we look back 5 years and we
Correct.
allocate money and there's like, it's never spent, so I don't know where it's
it's
going.
just it's actively getting involved with line by line,
Yes.
and that's absolutely, when I talk about budget narratives, okay? And when I sat down with the different department heads, it was very helpful because, yes, there's the spreadsheets that we send out, but there's also, wouldn't you like to know what that salary total was, which individuals went into which fund, okay, and.
Very hard in its current form.
So again, that's my goal, and so that's why we're gonna get everybody in front of you with the expense side, so you can kind of get that macro look. But then I wanna go and micro look in there.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So what are we thinking on timeline in that regard? Because we have these meetings coming up next
Well,
week.
that's for the macro, like, here's our
So
first
Then we
run.
can do it through there.
I'm not thinking anything until after the first of the
Yeah,
year,
that's
because
okay.
remember, I still
That's
have
fine.
state valuation,
That's fine.
TIF.
We're actually a little bit ahead if we're doing like the department heads coming here and giving us their presentation.
And I'm not gonna have the libraries
Yeah.
or the torts or the,
Hey, we're way ahead of last year.
so, but I just want you to know that
Yes, we are.
Just saying, we're okay.
that's what we're going for.
Sure.
Okay, so,
Okay.
thanks.
And then, Michelle, payment for outside counsel.
So,
Thoughts
thank
on
you
that?
for bringing that up,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be difficult.
Okay.
So as the auditor, in fact, I talked to two different people today, auditors, and it's like, invoices have to be sufficient to show for the purpose of the public, okay? And I understand we're talking about legal privileged information, but not everything is falls under that. I know for, there's resolutions that have been written, there's some other things. So all I'm asking is Bowles to expound upon the things that aren't privileged. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, I was under sunshine laws, so we'd have to, because you can't, by you just saying possible litigation means
Well,
nothing.
true, and again, if you guys wanna make a special, make the 15th, a 15-minute claims pay, and this gets resolved, that's great. I'm happy to work through this.
So I don't.
I'm in the middle, okay,
Right.
right? You guys understand that?
Right, I
I'm
understand that.
smack dab in the middle.
I don't think though that we should use this as a reason to withhold payment, because services were
We won't
provided.
get, they won't be able to, we won't have to pay, because we're requesting additional information, we're not gonna have to pay any late fees.
Who's requesting additional information?
She is.
I am.
You are.
Because
Well,
she has to clarify.
Because of the direction.
Mhm.
Does that make any sense?
So,
Yeah, sure.
so I
But
think,
what doesn't make sense is why Steve Swanson was included in these communications, because he has nothing to do with approving our invoices, so that's where I'm trying to, trying to understand.
so I'm wondering if it,
Again, being in the middle.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think what we need to do is, we have outstanding invoices that need to be paid. We're required to pay invoices. And we can work on the other stuff as we go, but we still need to pay these invoices.
Yeah.
So, wanna put our claims together on the 15th then?
That'd be fabulous.
That would be great. And then we can work through all of that to get what we need, but we can't use this as an excuse not to pay a claim, because when I looked at the Allers and Cooney outside counsel, we actually mimicked what they did. So, at your request. So it matches exactly what they submit to us.
And please also understand, it's the pending litigation that's the hangup, okay, guys?
That's stuff that we cannot disclose.
And again, I don't wanna do the
So
whole
we
closed
need to-
meeting debacle, so
Yeah,
we'll
so
just,
we need
we'll
to,
just-
so we need to sort through and see if there's a way that we could be more specific.
when you can, I mean, if they write a resolution for you, if they put together the RFP.
Just be transparent on what they're doing with
So
it.
this is
Not
gonna go,
being transparent.
we are in a disagreement on how to define that.
Yeah.
So,
We are.
so we can work through that with legal counsel, but my concern right now is making sure that bills are getting paid. So if we can put that together, and we can do a special meeting on the 15th and approve them and get those paid, and then we can work through the housekeeping items afterwards. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just make sure that you know,
I know.
we need to work through them.
I understand
Okay.
that.
Thank
But
you. I'm not gonna have a dink on my audit because I paid a bill that I shouldn't have, and that's a real thing, that's not a made
No,
up thing.
I understand that, but
Okay,
these match exactly what Allers and Cooney provides, and they've been sending us bills for years.
So do they need more detail then as well,
So-
or is?
We haven't had an issue with any of their invoices for as long as I've been on board. And they've been our outside counsel for a long time.
Well,
again,
That's real litigation.
I said what I have to say. Okay.
So, but if we can get that going to pay on the 15th, that
I
would be
will visit
awesome.
Flora.
Thank you. So I jumped ahead of my new
That sounds
business. I
great.
finished my reports.
I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Go back to your.
Are you done?
board. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, moving on, I've had a mature meeting. We had our budget work session. We had our comp board meeting, which we were at. We had the state come out here to do an ADA review, both this building and the courthouse. She said she's gonna have a report for us. I don't know when, but she'll have a report and give us on how those buildings, rate.
That's great.
We have a public health meeting tomorrow, where they're gonna discuss the 2080 and work out the details. My understanding, the last update I got is that it was approved by the Board of Health. I don't know if their Board of Supervisors signed off on it yet or not. I don't recall, to be honest. I have to go to anything else. However, what I did do is, when you presented about how much money it costs every month for the public health building, it seemed kind of low, 6,000 seemed kind of low. And the reason why is if you were just looking at the public health budget, you are not accounting for everything that goes towards the public health building in buildings and grounds budget and the IT budget. So I went and I looked at that, and it's actually closer to $30,000 a year that we will save in expenses once that building is sold. So it's not 6, it's 30,000.
Well, I just said, heating and cooling is all I included.
So I
Is
included
it cheapest
gas,
building?
electric, water, garbage, maintenance, exterminator, telephone, and internet. And I'm almost done with the telecom thing. I'm waiting for some DID numbers from Telecom. Once that's done,
So I'm just now digging into the IT budget.
so I will, do that. So what I did was, after that, I kinda got in the weeds and I started looking at the public health budget, and again, I'll go over this with them tomorrow, cause they know it more than I do. But it looks like, with this 2080 agreement, it's probably gonna save, just initially without any of the public health building sale or anything like that, it's gonna save us about $60,000 a year. Once we sell the public health building, it'll be closer to $80,000 a year. So, $85,000 a year. So, I think, the savings thus far that people have speculated has been way under. We're gonna save the taxpayers quite a bit of money on this, both annually and then of course when the building is sold. They are, what I could ask the Board of Health is kinda, if you wish, request them to do a report or something explaining, what's changing for services, what is not changing. So
Please.
From my understanding, things are not going to change. We're still gonna have the nurse here once a week. And if it's needed, obviously if it's not needed, if there's no
But if she
appointments.
doesn't come at all, do you still pay? You pay your $73,000 a year whether
No.
she shows up?
No.
She's charged per time.
But I do have a question, is when she attends, like this last bill we got, she attended a training, and my question is, we're not paying that whole thing, we're paying 25% of the total cost. I'd like to see that so that'll be another when I get that invoice, that will be the test.
So was that like a CEH training? So they
I
should
can look
pay
it
that
up,
for
but I
that.
don't
So
like
right
that.
now, the
They need to
2080
pay
we're
that.
under right now with them is gonna be is different than what the new one is.
Actually, it's just billed all this, they've been
It's one
billing
big
this.
chunk, right?
That was what it was, but they never did it that way. We never paid bills that way.
Okay.
So I think what they've drafted, if, and I can get into those details,
Uh-huh.
what they drafted in my way I look at it, is what they've been doing.
Okay.
And I can confirm with Laura on that, but I don't see that we ever paid a lump sum check to Warren County
Well, it was
for
as,
$7,300 a month.
no, it was as needed. That's what Susan said.
That's my point.
It was as needed.
So it-
Michelle, what happens if the Board of Supervisors and Warren doesn't sign it? Then what happens?
I don't know.
It's the 2080 is, the 2080
It's not a 28E.
Yeah,
I mean, I really do question whether this is 28E in its actual.
It is a
its face.
2080.
Cause I didn't think boards of health could do a 28E.
Yes, they can. It's
Okay.
actually listed in there, and that's what I was gonna get at, is the 2080 is between the boards of health, it's not between the boards of supervisors. They actually have a carve out in Iowa code to where the board of health can sign and engage in their own 2080 agreement.
That's good.
However, the Warren County and our current Board of Health agreed that they thought it would be good practice to get buy-in from the Board of Supervisors. Because, we control their budget and all that kind of stuff, we wanna make sure that we are being team players. So, but it is not, if they don't sign it, technically the Board of Health can still do it. Is it advisable? Probably not, but legally they could. So, I think.
And you would be compelled to pay.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, I don't think there's any issues, but I'll find out more tomorrow at their meeting as to what's going on. Cause that's when the Joelle is gonna be there from Warren County.
So
or
let's
she'll be
just,
calling in.
we'll circle back, yeah, so I will communicate as the bills come in, it's like, so Joelle does this represent 25% of that total training cost. You know, and then, do you think it'd be reasonable to ask them to submit, you know, when we get our invoice from them, submit their invoices on the back for support? Is that
I
reasonable?
don't think that's unreasonable.
I think that's fine.
I think we'll know more,
Okay,
because, you know, this stuff, all this conversation is the Board of Health.
you know what, I apologize, I
Yeah.
probably went down a road I shouldn't have gone on the agenda.
No, it's good stuff, so we know what's, we're all on the
But we
same
need to
page.
stick to our agenda.
So,
Yeah, where we're at.
so anyway, so I wanted to kind of give the Board of Supervisors kind of an update. It looks like this is gonna save quite a bit of taxpayer money. I'll know more once everything's finalized, but based on the numbers here, with that, regarding the telecom stuff, moving, once I have that information, we're gonna have to coordinate with Solutions and MediaCom to transfer the phone equipment.
And that will be done in 2 chunks, just so you know,
Okay.
that goes through. I'd like to start moving next week, but I don't know that that's,
Do we have bids on cost yet or no?
oh yeah, I gave them to you guys. Spreadsheets, remember the $1,500?
We gave it to.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I didn't say it
There's
again.
no, there wasn't, that's all, there's nothing else out there. Any other concerns?
I'll resend the spreadsheet. I mean, I
just
thought
wanna
I
make sure I'm
handed it to
understanding.
you during one of our last meetings.
Okay, I just want, I
Like I
didn't know
said, you have
if
to add in, we got all the bids in, I didn't
I wanna make sure I wasn't missing anything else that was outstanding, that we were waiting on.
no,
Because,
it's
yeah,
all, they got in, everybody got back to us in a week.
Okay, cool, okay. So, but I don't expect you to move before the end of the year.
Well, that would be nice if I didn't have to do that.
So, I think we should probably
Pump the brakes.
pump the brakes on that,
Okay,
okay? So you can get caught up
well,
on
I'm
other
gonna
stuff.
love that.
So, okay, but we don't wanna lose sight of it, so. Okay, so moving on, I think that was all I had on that. Yes, okay, anything else under reports? Any old business? Any new business? The only thing we had new business is what we discussed already. And 2025 priorities. You all got an email from Ryan regarding his update regarding the ordinance review. So if you have any questions for him, he's not here tonight, please reach out to him and ask him those questions. If you have anything, it sounds like they have a lot of work left to do on that, they just barely started.
Will that be public, those updates or not? Or-
I printed it on.
I think you should wait, it's got 22 pages.
Oh, I just wondered, I mean,
Acronyms and.
I don't know, I would reach out to him, cause I would kinda leave it up to
Oh, then,
what he wants to do. It's because there's so much changes and stuff, I don't know if that,
it's a good time to do
Let's
that.
wait till.
yeah, I think it'd be probably better when we're further along, but whatever he would like to do.
I'm only interested because of the ordinance notices and such that are gonna come.
I think we're way
Okay.
we're way too old for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see us doing any of that till probably the fall at the earliest. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Excuse me, but I don't recall having my question answered. Did this board set aside $50,000 for future legal fees? It's real simple. It was discussed at the last
It's
meeting.
actually gonna be more than that, probably,
It is.
quite frankly.
I can get you
And we're gonna be doing a
should
budget
I-
amendment next week, so you can join us then.
That's all. I know.